Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm loving the screams that I heard of people seeing folks they haven't seen in a long time. So I want to say welcome. Glad all of you are here tonight. I'm Crystal Dixon, class of 1990 and course 6-1. Woo! And I'm also married to a Black MIT graduate, Michael Dixon. He's class of 88. And 36 years and 6 kids later, I'm really glad and feel really blessed to be with you here tonight. So I also serve on the board of directors of the Black Alumni of MIT, or BAMIT. And so on behalf of our board chair, Patrick Gertis, and the BAMIT community, I want to welcome you, those who are in the room and those who are online, to our 2026 Black Graduate Celebration. It's going to be a great time, so thanks for joining us. So we have some special guests in the audience as well. We have the admitted students. If you are here, if you could just raise your hand. Yeah, that's the way. And although we're celebrating our graduates tonight, we are hoping that in 4 years, we'll be celebrating you in the same way. So thanks for being here, and I hope you enjoy your time here on campus. So our theme tonight is in our own frequency. So when we think of frequency, we kind of gravitate to the technical, signal strength or connectivity or the invisible forces that make systems work. And that's a fitting metaphor for MIT. But tonight, it means so much more. It honors your unique signal, your voice, your brilliance, your purpose. You did not simply sit around all these years and absorb the signals that were around you. You generated your own. And operating in your own frequency reflects not only your mastery of your fields, but it also honors the unapologetic originality you bring to everything you do. This theme celebrates the success of Black graduates navigating an institution not historically built with you in mind. And yet, here you are. It affirms that your voices, creativity, culture, and intellect never need to be muted to fit dominant norms. By embracing authenticity, individuality, and community, MIT now reverberates with richer ideas and a fuller harmony. And yes, I am a musician. And frequency is not only individual. At its most powerful, it's collective. This theme reflects something essential about MIT's culture of shared achievement, the understanding that we rise together, that our signals strengthen one another, and that alignment, collaboration, and mutual support are not incidental to excellence, it's central to it. These are values that have long resonated deeply within Black academic spaces, and they are very much alive in this room tonight. It's the all-night sessions, study sessions, the group chat meltdowns, the Toscanini runs, the mentors who steadied you, the friends who passed you the answers to the problem sets, the laughter, the gospel singing, the cultural grounding. Every one of those moments was a tuning process that kept you connected. And that is why graduation is not only a personal achievement, but also a celebration of collective resilience, shared triumph, and the community that helped carry you here. Graduates, your frequency will continue to resonate in the labs you lead, the companies you build, the classrooms you teach, the policies you shape, the communities you serve, and the lives you touch. So today we celebrate this incredible milestone, your graduation from MIT. And as you turn your brass rats around in the weeks ahead, it's one of the rites of passage that says, I made it, I did it. My charge to you is simple. Stay on your frequency. Do not let the noise of the world drown it out or diminish it. Let your signal be clear, let it be strong, and then let it guide those who follow. So congratulations, class of 2026. We are so proud of you. So before we start with the celebration, I want to turn our attention to a quick moment to acknowledge some special students in the audience. And when I read out your names, please come down to the stage here. The Ronald McNair 1977 Scholarship Fund was established in 1986 by the Black Alumni of MIT to honor Dr. Ronald E. McNair, class of 77, NASA astronaut, physicist, and MIT alumnus, who tragically lost his life in the Challenger shuttle explosion on January 28, 1986. The fund recognizes and supports Black MIT undergraduates who embody Dr. McNair's enduring commitment to excellence, leadership, and service to community. There were 5 students selected this year for the scholarship, and I understand some of you are here. So I'm gonna, again, read your name, and if you are here, just please come down to the stage. Christian Cologne. Yapsara Hawaz. Aya Mahmood. Lauren Nichols. And Ayantu Tamim. I think they want to get a photo of you both next to each other. Congratulations. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our MC for the evening, who will take us through the program. Sonia Keke is a junior at MIT, yes, majoring in aerospace engineering, course 16, with a minor in African and African diaspora studies. On campus, she serves as the co-president and social cultural co-chair of the MIT Black Students Union. Raised in Virginia Beach, Virginia, by Togolese immigrants, Sonia discovered her passion for aerospace after her parents introduced her to the film Hidden Figures. She aims to build a career at the intersection of space and public policy. Sonia is a passionate advocate for responsible space governance frameworks, international collaboration, and technologies that promote the sustainable and inclusive exploration of outer space. A recognized Burchard Scholar, Patty Grace Smith Fellow, and Matthew Isakowitz Commercial Space Scholar, Sonia will spend this upcoming summer in Washington, D.C., interning on the Government Affairs and Public Policy team at Northwood Space. Help me welcome Sonia to the podium.
Thank you, Crystal. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming. Welcome to In Our Own Frequency. Tonight, we honor innovators, trailblazers, and community builders, graduates who have tuned the world to their wavelength. Let's celebrate the brilliance that brought us here and the signal strong enough to carry us forward. Our program tonight includes greetings from the MIT Alumni Association, remarks from Institute leadership and student leaders, an interactive trivia, keep your phone close by for this, and a performance from our very own Burnt Sugar. Immediately following, we will have Greg Anderson, graduate of the class of 1994, who will give us some inspiring words before the presentation of the Kente stoles. We hope you will stay afterward to enjoy fellowship and community time outside on Student Street. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker of the evening. Whitney T. Espick was named CEO of the MIT Alumni Association in August 2017. Prior to this role, she served as Executive Director of Communications, Events, and Donor Relations in MIT's Resource Development Group, playing a significant role in launching the public phase of the MIT Campaign for a Better World. Before joining MIT, Whitney worked in Harvard University's Central Alumni Affairs and Development Office, first as Director of University Development Communications Initiatives, and then as Senior Director of Strategic Marketing and Communications. Fun fact, unlike many higher education institutions, MIT does not award honorary degrees, but it does grant honorary membership. In recognition of her extraordinary service to MIT and its alumni community, Whitney was awarded honorary membership in the MIT Alumni Association in 2024. Please help me welcome Whitney to the stage.
Sonia, thank you for that welcome. And just hearing all that talk of an institution up the street, that seems like ages ago. I don't think about that. This is a fabulous institution. I'm really, really happy here. It's great to be here with you all. And thank you for that warm welcome. Crystal, thank you for all that you do to keep our community together. And this is one of those moments that begins the spark that carries you all from your days on MIT's campus out into the world, still connected to all the people that you've come to know and care about and be inspired by here. You know, I've had the privilege of serving as the Alumni Association's executive officer for 9 years now. And it's a joy to be back here at the Black Graduate Celebration. I was listening to the metaphor about frequency. I am here frequently every year. It's one of my, I have no favorites, but this is one of my favorite graduation run-up moments. And I'm just so many congratulations to all of you. It's great to gather before the exciting swirl of commencement so that we can be here to celebrate the brilliance, perseverance, creativity, and achievements of MIT's Black graduates. This is a moment that belongs to you, your families, your mentors, your communities, and I want to offer a special thanks to our extraordinary co-chairs, Patrice Langford and Quinn Langford, who are here in the room. Yes. It's a remarkable mother-daughter alumni team whose leadership and love for MIT have shaped this celebration. Thank you both for your vision and for your dedication. I also want to recognize the BAMIT Board of Directors and the BAMIT Programming Committee. Important moments like this simply would not happen without their tireless volunteer efforts. Groups like BAMIT are integral to the association's work to ensure the enduring connections not only between alumni across the country and around the world, but also toward creating meaningful bonds between alumni with today's MIT graduates. BAMIT is proof that your relationship with MIT can truly be infinite. And so to our graduates who are now about to experience that for themselves, although I don't want to jinx anything, and I know you're not done, and I know you've got stuff to turn in, but you are on the verge of your lifelong relationship with MIT. And on behalf of the MIT Alumni Association, congratulations on this extraordinary achievement. And we're going to applaud that right now. We are so proud of you. As you leave MIT, each of you will continue forward on your own path, one shaped by the work you've done here, the people and communities who supported you, and the experiences that challenged and inspired you along the way. And we can't wait to see the impact you can have on the world. But don't keep us guessing. And now here's the advertisement for the Alumni Association and for BAMIT. We want you to stay close. Class of 2026, stay close to your classmates and to the regional alumni clubs wherever the world takes you. We hope you'll return to campus in 2031. Think about that, your 5th reunion. We want to see you back here. Also, you're all invited to reunion activities that are coming up at the end of May. But tonight, we have so much to look forward to. Interactive trivia, an incredible performance by Burnt Sugar, a keynote address from Greg Anderson. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for being part of the MIT community today, tomorrow, and forever. And now, it's my pleasure to pass the microphone to David Darmafal, MIT's Vice Chancellor for Graduate and Undergraduate Education, and the Jerome B. Wiesner Professor of Aeronautics and Astronautics, who will offer his remarks on behalf of MIT's leadership. Come on up, Dave.
Thank you, everybody. It is an honor to be here and to represent MIT's leadership, but just to really be here to celebrate you. So first, I want to start with a round of applause for those of you that are on the doorstep here of graduation. One more time for everybody. And I want to thank our chairs, co-chairs, Patrice and Quinn Langford, for the opportunity to come and speak. I really appreciate the chance to give you a few words here. So beyond that, the most important thing I want to do about congratulating is congratulating the friends, the families, the mentors, the fellow students here that really supported everyone through this difficult and trying journey at times. So if you don't mind, this is the last time I'm going to ask for some applause. I'd love for you to direct some applause to the people that have supported you throughout this time here. Okay, so a little bit, but not much, about myself. You may ask, what's the Vice Chancellor for Graduate and Undergraduate Education do? And I honestly am still figuring that out. I started a year ago, and a lot to learn in the process. But in a nutshell, the Vice Chancellor for Graduate and Undergraduate Education is in charge of sort of education here at MIT. Offices that you may be familiar with would be the Office of the First Year, the Office of Academic Community and Empowerment and Support. That is OASIS. That is the follow-on to the Office of Minority Education, OME, and lives within the UAC, or the Undergraduate Advising Center. So that was a lot of acronyms right there. Let me tell you that in the process of becoming Vice Chancellor, in the very first days of it, I got calls, I got emails from alumni, and I want to pick up on sort of the alumni connection here. I really appreciated the opportunity to connect with the alumni that were passionate about MIT, about what MIT brought to them, and have continued to give back to MIT through their wisdom, their experiences both here and then wherever the world, wherever this adventure took them next. I want to call out, I'd love to call out a whole bunch of people. I want to call out one person in particular for something that always sticks in my mind, and that's Michelle Harton. I don't know if some of you may know Michelle, but a long time, yes. So I've had the pleasure of having informal and somewhat occasionally formal advisory councils as we started to think about OME, and eventually it became OASIS. And Michelle was on those committees. But Michelle also, she's emailed me. She'll say, "Hey, Dave, I need to talk." And then when we would get usually on Zoom, Michelle would start Yeah, it's the meddling alumni again. I need to talk to you, Dave. And jokingly, you know, I think about Michelle and about that meddling alumni. I want to encourage you all to keep being, or as you become alumni, but as your students as well, to keep that meddling alumni aspect back up. I learned so much in my first year here from the interactions with students and with alumni. I want to encourage you to take on that role and continue that role of, you know, tell us what's happening. Tell us where you think we need to be doing better. There is a long way for us as an institute to go. And I really value, I know we all value that, that perspective of current students, former students coming back and telling us where we need to do better and how they also want to get involved. So encourage you to take Michelle's example and continue to be active in the community here at MIT. A little bit more about myself at a personal level. I am an AeroAstro faculty member. This feels like it's an AeroAstro night with Sonia here. The McNair building, which is another way that we honor Ronald McNair, is building 37 in MIT speak. That is where I spent most of my life, to be honest with you, when I've been here at MIT. So as a graduate student, I'm a grad alum. My office was in building 37. My first many years on the faculty, my office was in building 37. I saw Ronald McNair's name all the time entering that building. Another person that's another, in Michelle's words, meddling alum that has been a great partner is Bobby Satcher. I don't know how many of you might know Bobby, but Bobby is another person that's in an informal advisory group that we meet about once or twice a semester. And Bobby is another person that is a straight shooter and tells us, hey, this is great, this needs more attention. And I think we all really value that opinion. So I want to bring in Bobby's a little bit, because here's another astronaut. I don't know how many of you know, but he is also an astronaut, a chemical engineer from MIT, also a graduate of the Harvard Science Technology MIT program, so an orthopedic surgeon, and just a dedicated alumni. I just wonder if it was coincidence or not that we are here on the night that the Artemis is splashing down in the first time. It's quite remarkable to me, the coincidence. And let me just say one last thing about this, and that's, if I'm an aerospace nerd, which I admit I'm a card-carrying aerospace nerd, there's only one other place that I'd rather be than sitting in front of the TV watching what's about to happen, and that's to be here to celebrate with this community. So thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. Okay, a couple last words. So it's no surprise that students often will turn to alumni to ask them about their experience and what comes next. I want to emphasize again the importance of your continued involvement in MIT, and that I would love to see you here pass your time as a student. What I've learned, and what I hope that I'll emphasize tonight, is that your input makes MIT a better place. And it has helped me personally in my time here as a faculty member and as a vice chancellor. So whether you happen to venture into space or whatever your next adventure it is, I'm confident that you will benefit from all of the ways that your fellow students and alumni community have and will continue to inspire you. And I'm looking forward to meeting you as in the future, and come back to MIT, knock on my door, send me that email, say, hey, Dave, this is a meddling alumni, I need to talk to you. And I would really value the opportunity to do that. Wear your brass rat proudly, embrace the growth, changes, and challenges that await you, and know that you'll always be a part of this wonderful and unique place, and that what makes MIT a special place, it's not the labs, it's not the buildings, it's even not the programs, it's you, the community, that makes MIT a special place. And congratulations once again, and thank you for your time here, and look forward to meeting you out in the hallway a little later. So with that, I want to get off the stage because I understand we have some trivia coming from Sonia. So welcome back, Sonia, to the stage.
Thank you, Whitney and David. I definitely feel like the stars are aligned because we will have the opportunity to hear from Bobby Satcher tomorrow at Ebony Affair Gala. So very on theme. So a newly added highlight of the past few ceremonies is to test just how deep your MIT Black history knowledge really goes. Think you know the legends, the milestones, the trailblazers, and the moments that shaped our community? Well, tonight's your chance to prove it. Get ready for a little friendly competition, a lot of learning, and plenty of laughs as we celebrate the brilliance, resilience, and legacy of Black scholars at MIT. Whether you're here to win bragging rights or just here for the vibes, one thing's for sure, you're about to have a great time. Let the trivia begin, and may the most MIT obsessed among you take the crown. Take out your phones. We're going to give you a minute to get into Mentimeter. Let's play. Okay. Oh. All right. Okay. First question. Who founded the MIT Black History Project in 1995? This one is this. Oh, okay. Oh. Clarence Williams was the correct answer. Good job. Okay. Who was the first Black graduate of MIT? Okay, the correct answer was Robert Robinson Taylor. Okay. When was the BSU started? (1968). How long is the Harvard Bridge? $364.4 smoots. Which MIT dorm was shown in Black Panther Wakanda Forever as Riri Williams' room? Okay, that was Simmons. How many Black commencement speakers has the Institute hosted? The answer was 7. Doesn't seem like a lot of people got that. What was the name of the Black MIT student-run soul music radio program started in 1969? Ghetto. In what year did MIT begin its annual celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? $1975. Where is the MIT Pi reunion held? Las Vegas. Which MIT building was renamed to honor Challenger astronaut Ron McNair, PhD 77? Building 37. Which of the following is currently not a MITES program? Okay, it was Sundays. Last question. What does BCAP stand for? BAMIT Community Advancement Program. Awesome. Well, that was fun. I know we can do that all night, but it's time to get back to our program. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our student speakers, Oluwadara Deru and Micah Kane. Oluwadara Deru is a senior majoring in mechanical engineering and minoring in Spanish. She is dedicated to creating resources, advancing student rights, and fostering community. Micah Kane is an interdisciplinary resilience engineer from the Department of Urban Planning, whose work centers on liberatory memory, community land ownership, and climate resilient infrastructure. Please join me in welcoming Dara.
Hello, everybody. Happy Afro April. When I was told I would be the undergrad speaker, I began thinking about how great our class is. You know, we have 2 Black UA presidents, never done before. We've had a Black class council president for all 4 years. We also had the inaugural class of Juniper. And but then on top of that, we have Rhodes Scholars, Schwartzman Scholars, future PhD, JD, MA, MD in our class. But But if I spend the whole night talking about our achievements, I'll be here till kingdom comes. So instead, I wanted to give 2 pieces of advice. My first is fall forward. Whether you are uncertain about employment, grad school, health, or simply tomorrow, I ask that you fall forward. Falling forward means that you fall in a new spot because you didn't stay stagnant. If you stay where you are, all you will learn is something that you already know. But if you take a step, even if it is a misstep, you will learn something new. My second piece of advice is a little more solemn and based on the words of Toni Morrison. She says the very serious function of racism is distraction. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining over and over again your reason for being. As you leave the confines of Massachusetts Avenue and numbered buildings, it is imperative that you do not only have a high self-esteem, but also a high racial esteem. In the current status quo and the one before, the pervasive nature of prejudice always reared its beastly head. Yet we are here, not only surviving, but also thriving. If I may tie back to my earlier point, not everyone at this school gets to say what I said earlier about their community. Not everyone can look at a crowd like the one today and say that it's filled with brilliant and capable minds. We are the future, and to create new systems and bridges, that requires us to be focused on building and not just explaining. Graduating from MIT is a feat in and of itself, and you are now part of the 1% or less than 1% of the world's population that can say they've done that. So give yourself a round of applause. And to the pre-frosh who are here, congratulations. It's a huge deal to get into MIT. And I hope you commit, but I mostly hope you commit because of this weekend. Talk to the upperclassmen, explore campus, and honestly just have fun. I hope you see yourself in this campus by Sunday, and the best of luck with your endeavors. Now back to the class of 2026. We did it. And and truly, truly celebrate tonight. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Wow, so many beautiful Black faces in the room. I did just want to clarify that I identify as a designer, not an engineer. I wouldn't want to disrespect y'all like that. But following the frequency of Crystal's comments, well, first of all, I just want to congratulate all of you on this remarkable achievement, especially the home team, my fellow Duspers, period. Following the frequency of Crystal's comments, for grad students in this moment may mean completing a research project you shed blood, sweat, and tears on. For those who matriculated to MIT directly after undergrad, this represents a transition into your working life. How fun. This moment may feel like you can stunt on your biggest haters, other students and faculty that didn't want to see you win. I know your arch nemesis is punching the air right now. This is a moment where you can honor your family and village that supported and sacrificed for you to get to this point in the first place. I personally want to thank my mom and my dad, Kim and Thomas Kane, and my twin sister, Maya, my village of family members, mentors, and friends who never stopped believing in me. And my nephew and niece, Kobe and Vera, who always inspire me and motivate me. Hopefully for most of us, this moment feels like you can start anew with a new sense of agency and ownership over your life and time. Woo, we did it, y'all. But like I don't know if folks grew up in the church like I did, but like the gospel singer Dorothy Norwood sang, "Victory is mine." I'm not going to sing because I can't sing. Amen. Hey, not too much on me though. But I'm here to tell you that victory is yours and you are the birthday. Amen. So my master's thesis title is Mountain and Water Gospel, Imagining Repair in the Feminist Afterlives of Coal Extraction. My matrilineal lineage came through McDowell County, West Virginia, and Wythe County, Virginia, with most of the men in my family being coal miners. But this project that I'm working on honors the women that reconciled, cared for, and migrated whole communities in the afterlives of coal extraction that are under-historicized in institutional archives. My great aunt, my great-grandmother's sister, Elvira Neal, was a woman of this generation who attended Bluefield State College, the first woman in my family to go to college. So I had to rep my set. And where am I? And I honor her today because she used her education to lead the Appalachian Social Welfare Organization, the Council of Southern Mountains, which still exists today. She was an elder in her church, the Mount Chapel Missionary Baptist Church. She rallied to save the Head Start program in McDowell County and led the establishment of a community shuttle and led demonstrations against electricity price hikes in Charleston, all while also raising my grandmother. She was a world builder, and I am grateful to share more of her story through this project. I'm not here to talk about my thesis, but during my month spent back in West Virginia, it quickly dawned on me I couldn't study Appalachia without also deep study of the gospel blues. The gospel blues is known to be invented by Thomas Dorsey in the late 18th century, a mix of sacred gospel and the secular blues of the time. The blues describes the condition, the hurt, the hardship, and the gospel reminds the listener to have faith and be encouraged in navigating those hardships. Within that tradition, gospel blues became a way of letting hardship be voiced, shared, and spiritually reworked. And I want to tap into that frequency today. My research looked deeply into a genre of gospel blues that I like to call land gospel. It sings with mountains, rivers, valleys, through roads and troubled water. Songs like The Rough Side of the Mountain, Going Up Yonder, Jesus is My Rock, For Every Mountain, On the Shore, and old hymns like Wade in the Water gives us a way to speak about hardship through earth itself. And no matter if you're religious or not, this tradition reveals a decolonial way of engaging with the land, and it doesn't aim to dominate, but navigate it. The land remembers, the land teaches, and the land helps us tell the truth. But if you don't mind, I first need to sing the blues. If you've been on this campus, grad students, some of you have been here for 7 years, I've been here for just 2, thank God. You bore witness to the genocide in Palestine perpetrated by Israel and the US. Instead of cutting destructive defense research, MIT attempted to silence students and faculty. You witnessed international students' visas being revoked, ICE deployed in our communities, airports, killing us, our neighbors, in our family, in our friends. We bear witness to the atrocities of the war in Iran and most recently the attacks in Lebanon. And we've seen how this university revels in the predatory practice of co-opting and coercing Black talent to working on world-ending projects funded by billionaires and defense. We're in a climate crisis being accelerated by imperialist powers abducting world leaders to seize their natural resources. Just as the state aims to centralize resources, the university continues to centralize and institutionalize Black talent, disorienting us from serving our communities and building power, but building billionaires' visions of the future. They deem our spaces as fungible, disposable, in pursuit of full spectrum domination. The logics of the plantation, the logics of the coal camp are very much present in our carceral policing and education systems everywhere, and now manifesting into these data center logics. The conditions of today are deplorable, some may say apocalyptic, but turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, we've been here before. But even in the hardship of collective blues, there is good news. The land gospel reminds us that in crossing the river to climb the mountain, how you get over is by having direction and faith. Today at the Black graduation ceremony, it's been on my heart to talk about how badly we need direction. And Dara mentioned falling forward, and that really resonated. Like a body of water, Black people flow over the most harsh terrains. We gather, we confluence, but that requires us to have direction together. When I traveled to Angola, honestly, that's a whole nother story. With Missy Africa, I came up with this term that I didn't really even know before called goldfish. Is when talented Black engineers, scientists, and strategists, brilliant Black folks are bagged into a plastic baggie like Nemo to separate them from the community in exchange for having a high salary and a high quality of life. The outcome, cultural disconnection and lack of community and community accountability. Cough Jay-Z, cough LeBron James. And I'm from Ohio. Plantation logics render Black people as property for extraction. Coal camp logics render Black people as wage labor for industrial growth. And engineering and science in industries and big corporations often render Black people as instruments of innovation, valued for output, data, and symbolic inclusion more than our improving the conditions of our communities, participating in world making, and definitely not reclaiming power. Our ancestors fought hard for education because it gave us agency and freedom. However, being institutionalized is how we use education as a weapon against our communities. Education was meant to open our world, not be used as a tool to destroy it. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, don't be goldfished. Being transparent, being here at MIT has opened my eyes to clearly see my place in the world and where the place that I occupy within it. What privileges I had, what contradictions that I had to reckon with. Coming to this institution, I hadn't done deep Black study. I just graduated out of my Black excellence era and did my undergraduate in business. and was in the MOT, so if you know, you know. But here I was introduced to a long history of Black scholarship and liberation theory and learning that I can reposition. See, I needed to change my direction, church, to better effectively support a liberation campaign because an effective climate resilience strategy relies on it. How wrong and how corny it is to see that work in a politically neutral and uncritical lens. When I think about the education my ancestors fought for, I now understand it to be the education I received from my Black classmates, alums, and Black faculty members in the Department of Urban Studies and Planning that advanced my understanding of Black history and struggle and helped me find a sense of wholeness and clarity I thought I'd never find. That relational education hit different, and that was distinctly different from the out-of-the-box institutional education offered here at MIT. It's important that we understand this difference clearly. My community collectively taught me to have two major focuses, rather hold these two temporal planes in these times of state violence and climate disaster. The first is having a hyperlocal focus, decentralizing resources, food systems, permaculture, reclaiming junkyards and landfills as site of post-capitalist production, local archives, local data ownership, hyperlocal everything, right? Because not only is this the most climate resilient strategy, it's also the one that shrinks the influence and risk of violence on our survival. If you can't power my life, you can't own me. That self-determined, aligned, defended commune is what is going to take us through. You should each see communes as a unit of liberation under this capitalist system. But you can't just stop there, right? The second focus is being connected to global struggle. Global indigenous struggle, queer and trans struggle, the struggle of all global subjects, imperialist, racist patriarchy. Our friends in Palestine, Haiti, Venezuela, Iran, Lebanon, Sudan, all our friends from all around the world. We are an ocean capable of typhoons if we catch the same wave. I've come to believe that this is what is needed of me, and I believe of all of you, especially looking at the youngins who are about to come to MIT next year. We need this to meet the moment for the next 7 generations of kids, our rivers, our trees, our coastlines, marine life, forest life, and life all around the world. Let's go back to the gospel. So we talked about land gospel providing direction, but the gospel tells us we also must have faith. And I'm talking to the people of this room of all faiths and spirituality. We have to reframe to believe that victory is already ours. Like water, we're going to keep running. We're going to keep navigating this landscape. And we know the mountain may be high, but we got motion, we got speed, and together we have direction and flow capable of settlement far and wide. And if we want it. So never forget the power that we yield. The power is not with the corporation that can pay you $300 to $600K a year, though those jobs are kind of rare these days. The power is in you, okay? The power is within you. And the power is with us together. Together we are whole. We were built for this. Look what we inherited. It is a gift to be Black, okay? And look at us thriving when we're not even supposed to be here right now. We have already won. When you operate in the fullest belief in yourself and community, we are capable of being anything. So why wouldn't we fight for a livable and viable future? Why would we believe that these conditions are inevitable? Have faith. I'll close by saying we can reconcile our knowledge, our talents, our energy, our brilliance into a collective world-making project. That's the cool thing about MIT, right? You can meet all these beautiful and intellectual Black people. And the beauty is that we're also not starting from zero. We have the blueprint and people have already been leading us in this fight. I have to say that to the graduate students, follow the examples set by the undergrads. The undergrads, y'all are some of the coolest people I've met as it relates to organizing and showing up. And I'm so grateful to have met many of you in the BSU lounge. So I say this, reject seeing our talent and our day jobs as separate from this mission. In these conditions, we're called to align our skills and abilities to wield our power and find direction amongst our people. This isn't a call to grandstand or perform, but the permission to allow yourself to be a matrix breaker, troublemaker, use your free will, say fuck that job, even if it means being a sleeper agent in the extractive regimes you have you are already oriented with right now. I know some of y'all can't leave tomorrow, I get it, but be like Nemo and find your way back to the ocean. Build a commune and organize around global struggle. Your grandkids need your interventions now, and don't let someone with a shorter view of the future try to convince you otherwise. Let's do great things, class of 2026, Ashe.
A huge thank you to my friends, Dara and Micah. We are so proud of you, and you represent what is great about MIT students. Because this is in our own frequency, I think we should switch the volume up on the joy. It is my pleasure to introduce our entertainment for the evening. Please put your hands together and give a warm welcome to Burnt Sugar, MIT's premier R&B and African diasporic live music band.
How is everybody tonight? You ready to graduate? Yeah. I'm great, thank you. All the seniors, you look incredible.
Very superstitious, writings on the wall. Very superstitious, ladders about to fall. 13-month-old baby, broken looking glass. 7 years of bad love, your good things in your past. When you believe in things that you don't understand and you suffer, superstition ain't the way. Very superstitious, wash your face and hands. Rid me of the problems, do all that you can. Keep me in a daydream, keep me going strong. You don't wanna save me, that is my song. When you believe in things that you don't understand and you suffer, superstition ain't the way. Nah, nah, nah. Very superstitious, nothing more to say. way. Very superstitious. The devil's on his way. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7 years of bad luck. You could think it passed. When you believe in things that you don't understand, you suffer. Superstition ain't the way. 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 Superstition ain't the way.
Thank you. So that was Superstition by Stevie Wonder. Just to introduce ourselves, we are Burnt Sugar. We are, some of us, I know you're quite familiar with some of our faces. We are very involved, but we are a new band, premier R&B group on campus. We are so excited to join the kaleidoscope of diasporic groups on campus. And we are so thankful that BAMIT has invited us to play for you all today. I mean, y'all looking beautiful. Like, you know, Black is beautiful. So I'm so excited to be here. Our next song is Tears Dry on Their Own by Amy Winehouse. Thank you. I love the crowd reaction. Keep that energy up. We need some Black joy. We are celebrating. Yes.
Never be the darkness that we know. Where I got so right. We were at our height. I knew I had it in my match. The moment we could snatch. I don't know why I got so touched. It's my responsibility. You know, only to me, but to walk away, I have no capacity. Sway, the sun goes down. He takes the day, but I'm wrong. And in your way, in my deep shade, my tears dry on their own. I don't understand. Why do I stress the man when there's so many? I could have never had it all. Had to hit a wall. So this is inevitable withdrawal. And if I stop wanting you, I expect to push it through. I'll be some next man's other woman. So I can't blame myself again. Just be my own best friend. I fuck myself in the head with stupid men. Sway, the sun goes down. He takes the day, but I'm wrong. And your way, deep shade, tears dry on their own. So we are his shadows, say the sun goes down. We can text them, I'm wrong. And go away in my deep shade. My tears so we are history. Shadow covers me. The sky above the blaze that only love to see. Say the sun goes down. We take the day, but I'm wrong. I'm in your way. You won't shade my tears dry. Say the sun goes down. We take the day. I am wrong. Your way. You shade my tears right on their own. Oh, he won't say the sun goes down. He takes the day, but I'm wrong. And your way, deep shade my tears right.
If some of y'all moving, you might want to stand up. Do you remember when we fell in love? We were young and innocent then. Do you remember how it all began? It just seemed like heaven, so I did it. I bet you remember back in the fall. I bet you remember together all day long. I bet you do. You remember us holding hands? I bet you remember in each other's eyes we said, yeah. Do you remember the time when we fell in love? Do you remember the time when we first met? Girl, remember the time? Oh, why we fell in love? Remember the time? Do you remember how we used to talk? You know, we stay on the phone from night till dawn. Do you remember all the things we said? Like I love you so I'll never let you go. Do you remember? I bet you remember back in the spring. I bet you remember every morning birds will sing. I bet you remember. Do you remember those special times? They just go on and on in the back of my mind. You remember the time, oh, when we fell in love. You remember the time when we first met, girl. Remember the time, oh, why we fell in love. You remember the time, those sweet memories will always be dear to me. And girl, no matter what we said, I will never forget what we've been through. Now, baby, remember the time. Oh, now remember the time when we first met, girl. Oh, why? Remember the time. Remember my baby. Remember the time. Yes, I remember. Remember all in my mind, girl. Remember the time. Oh, why? Remember the time. Remember my baby. Do you remember, girl? Remember the time on the phone, you and me, till dawn, till 3. What about us, girl? on the beach, you and me in Spain. Remember the time in the park after dark. Do you? Remember the time? Yeah. Remember the time. Thank you.
Wow, right? Thank you for that, Burnt Sugar. Another round of applause. Good evening, everybody. We'll get to that. Good evening, everybody. My name is Xavier Strom. I'm a current senior, class of 2026, and a brother of Chocolate City, which is why I have the particular honor of introducing today's keynote speaker, Greg Anderson, who is also a CC brother. Now it's time. CC. All right. Greg Anderson is an Emmy-nominated senior VFX supervisor and creative director with nearly 30 years of experience leading visual effects for some of the most technologically ambitious and culturally influential film and streaming productions of the modern era. A graduate of the MIT School of Architecture and Planning, he earned both a Bachelor of Science in Art and Design and a Master of Science focused on design and computation. While trained as an architect, Greg chose the unconventional path, applying his understanding of light, space, and form not to physical structures, but to cinematic storytelling. He began his career as a digital artist and technical director at Sony Picture Imageworks, contributing to the Oscar-nominated visual effects for Starship Troopers, Hollow Man, and Spider-Man. Over the next 2 decades, Greg evolved from artist to supervisor to studio leader, founding his first company, Burn, Crash, Repeat, in 2009. In 2014, as senior VFX supervisor and head of studio at Fuse FX, he launched and scaled the company's New York office to more than 90 artists while supervising culturally and visually significant projects, including When They See Us, Luke Cage, The Punisher, Iron Fist, Mr. Robot, DMZ, and Colin in Black and White. His work earned a Primetime Emmy nomination in 2018 for Outstanding Special Visual Effects in a supporting role for Mr. Robot. As director of VFX series at Netflix, Greg provided strategic and creative leadership across flagship global series, including Stranger Things, Avatar: The Last Airbender, One Piece, The Umbrella Academy, and Ripley. In this role, he aligned creative ambition with production realities, uniting showrunners, executives, and global vendors to deliver cohesive storytelling at scale. More recently, as Chief Operating Officer of Scanline VFX and Eyeline Studios, he led global operations and creative strategy across 7 international locations and 1,100 staff. There, he implemented organizational transformation initiatives that streamlined production systems supporting projects such as Andor, Wednesday, and Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. Today, Greg works independently as a senior VFX supervisor and creative director, advising studios and filmmakers on complex, effects-driven productions and emerging AI-enabled creative workflows, maintaining a consistent focus on story, craft, and the collaborative processes required to bring ambitious ideas to life. He is a member of the VFX Branch Executive Committee of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, the Visual Effects Society, and Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Without further ado, Greg Anderson.
I don't know, is this one on? Yep, can you guys hear me? Great. First, I just want to say that it's a great honor to be here. 30 years ago, exactly, I graduated with my Master of Science degree from the School of Architecture. And so to be here today with all of you is just humbling and just the best honor. So thank you to BAMIT, thank you, Quinn, thank you to your mom, Patrice, who I went to undergrad with here, and my sister for traveling from Atlanta. Are there any Deltas in the room? And of course, my fraternity brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Yo! So, the talk today that I want to give you guys is decidedly, on the surface, less serious and less heavy than what you all have been doing in undergrad. I wanted to, when I heard the theme of in our own frequency, I was like, oh yeah, finally, there's something for me. I didn't have a sort of traditional time here at MIT, and as such, my path has been a circuitous one. I started off as course 6, but I grew up drawing and imagining worlds. And so after 2 years of course 6 and notebooks full of drawings, I changed courses to course 4 because I had to sort of scratch that creative itch. And then I went to course 4 and I was the tech guy. And so I was too artsy for the tech major and kind of too tech for the artsy major. And so my path was a unique one that I had to carve for myself. And so it started when I was young. And as a sort of introverted, creative kid, I loved drawing, I loved the arts, and I especially loved comic books. And so today, I'm going to share a little bit of my love with you all. So instead of in our own frequency, I kind of look at it as my completely unconventional comic book guide to achievement and success after MIT. So I loved comic books growing up. I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and hopefully I'm not alone in raising my hand here. How many people here as kids dreamed of having superpowers? Okay, good. Great. Okay. Harder question. How many people here still dream about having superpowers? All right. Now we're talking. Okay. So I asked that because I think we do. I think the people in this room absolutely have superpowers. When I was a kid, I started reading at age 3. I'm sure all of you did. They wanted to pass me up a couple of grades. I lived in another world in my head. My superpower is that I dream worlds and I can make them real, whether it was architecture or in my career as a visual effects supervisor and artist. So obviously those ideas on superpowers came from comic books. So I did a little bit of research before I came because I wanted to express to all of you just how rare you are. Because as rare in comic books as superpowers are, right? In the X-Men universe, they say 1 in 400 people have superpowers. Right? I'm nerding out. Well, there are currently approximately 150,000 MIT graduates in the world. Black people, Black graduates represent about 7 or 10% of that. So what that means is each of you represents 1 in 600,000 on this planet. You are 1 in 600,000, each and every one of you. So sit with that. I don't know, it is akin to an Olympic medal. 1 in 500,000 or 600,000 people have attained an Olympic medal. And certainly their feats are superhuman. And I personally believe, having done this school twice, what we've done is superhuman as well. So I think it's just, it's an important thing for all of you to remember just how rare and how powerful you really are. Because you're about to leave this place, you're about to leave your friends and this community here where having these superpowers is normal. Like, I thought I was pretty smart before I got here. I think, I remember saying to myself when I graduated high school, bear with me, I think I'm the smartest person I know. It's real, I actually said that to myself. And 3 months later at MIT, I got to MIT and I was like, I think I'm the dumbest person here. So, which also wasn't true, but there's a lot of really amazing people here. So, I think I continue to kind of read comic books and collect comic books. When I was here in undergrad, Newberry Comics was in the Student Center. And so, I kept my comic book collecting going all through my MIT time. And I think I just carried that as a part of me going forward into the world and into my career. So it obviously inspired some of the projects that I've worked on. These are just a few, but they represent some of my favorites. I've had the privilege of contributing to multiple Oscar nominated and winning projects. I've worked on a lot of superhero stuff. Those are some of my favorite projects, Luke Cage being probably my most favorite. And I really attribute that to my love of comics, and especially the themes in comics around being different, around community, around the ideas of good versus evil, and taking some of those lessons with me into my career. So my favorite character is Wolverine. And his favorite saying is, I'm the best there is at what I do. And that resonated for me. And I think it probably resonates for all of you. In my career, and in all of your careers, mastery will be tantamount. Mastering your craft, whatever that is. Being tenacious. Doing what's required to be the best there is at what you do. And if your pursuits and careers are anything like mine, you're gonna leave a room like this and it'll be changed out for a room where you're the only one of you there. That's been my entire career. To give you a sense of what I mean by that, as a member of the Academy, I vote on the Oscars. So it's a great honor. So in the world, there are approximately 10,000 members of the Academy all over the world. It's broken up into branches: directing, cinematography, visual effects. The visual effects branch is about 750 people around the world. As of today, there are exactly 12 Black people. So much less than 1%. And that's normal. When I got into the academy, there were 5 of us. So, you know, the reality of the hill that we have to climb is still very much present. And one of the ways that I've sort of been able to achieve what I've achieved is really focusing on mastery and being the best there is at what I do, objectively. Not, well, we don't know. No, you know. And here's all the proof. Another lesson that I learned, once you've attained mastery, what do you do with it? Like, if you're not careful and you only use it to enrich yourself, you become a supervillain. So, from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. In the comics, Spider-Man gains his powers and he's enjoying them, and he witnesses a crime where he could have stopped the perpetrator of the crime and did not. The person that perpetrated the crime ended up killing his uncle. And he learned a valuable lesson in responsibility. And I think we all, as Black people, carrying the burden that we do, have a responsibility to our communities, a responsibility to our families, a responsibility to each other, to use these powers that we've honed here at MIT for the greater good. And every opportunity that I've ever gotten to speak, to support my community, to do events like this, I always say yes, because I found that every single time I do, in some way, shape, or form, I end up influencing someone in a very, very positive way that I didn't expect and they didn't either. And they come back to me years later saying, hey, I heard your speech when I was a high school senior, and that made me want to pursue the arts. Like, that to me is the most gratifying part of my entire career, is being able to influence people, Black people, in the arts. And because I think, it's challenging. The arts are intimidating. Everyone thinks that you don't make money doing the arts. I think I did pretty good. But, I think there are things we carry with us generationally. There were areas of study that we were pushed to focus on: law, medicine, engineering, these kinds of things, and those things are amazing. But you can also carve out a career in the arts that's just as amazing as well. So I take these opportunities to talk about that, so that if there are in our community folks who have that sort of creative urge and desire to do something bigger, the opportunities are there. Which then leads to show them who you are. So this is a scene from Black Panther. I'm sure you all saw it. And for me, what this means is show up with authenticity, with courage, with integrity, to let people know who you are. Don't shy away from letting people know, I went to MIT. And say it over and over and over again until they believe it. Because I can promise you, the world is a very difficult, harsh place. You're gonna take these degrees and you think you're gonna go out there and really everyone's just gonna recognize you from the beginning. They are not. And when that happens, you can't shy away, you can't shrink, You have to show them who you are. Be brave. Because, again, remember, 1 in the 600,000 on this earth are you. I can say this. I've been in rooms in the course of all these productions, and I've worked with more people that only went to high school than went to MIT. Matter of fact, I don't think I've worked with anyone else who's been to MIT. So I don't ever shrink. And when I'm there to do a job, I speak from mastery, I speak with responsibility, and I speak with courage, because I believe in what I've done. I stand behind my training, my background, my craftsmanship, and I stand behind this MIT education. Because what you all have accomplished is the real deal, and you should all be extraordinarily proud of that. I will leave you with this thought. After you leave this place and you achieve all the things that you hope to achieve in this life, I would encourage you to continue onward and to continue upward. There's a Latin phrase that I read in comics when I was a kid and didn't understand what it meant. It's actually the motto of New York State, for you New Yorkers out there. So, the Latin phrase means onward and upward, but I first heard it from Stan Lee, creator of the X-Men, writer and publisher of Marvel Comics, as Excelsior. So to all of you, onward and upward, or in the words of Stan Lee, Excelsior. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Greg, for those encouraging words, feeding our minds, and giving us something to carry with us. On behalf of the Black alumni of MIT, please accept this small token of appreciation.
Quinn, stay with me for a second. So everyone, this is Quinn Langford. Class of 2024 and co-chair of the 2026 Black Grad Celebration. She and her co-chair, Patrice Langford, class of 1990, put this whole program together. So we want to say a huge thank you to Quinn and Patrice, who is participating online. And now for the moment we have all been waiting for. But before we do the graduate roll call, BAMIT wants to acknowledge those graduates who are not participating in today's program. We know some of you did not meet our deadline for submitting your information to be included. But we know you are there, and we salute you and congratulate you still. I now call Rocklyn Clark to the stage for the graduate roll call.
Thank you. Let me just say it's a privilege and an honor to do this. And I want to highlight two of the trivia questions. One of them was the name of the first of the Black radio program that MIT had. It was The Ghetto. I actually remember The Ghetto. since I got here in '76. And I remember it back when MIT's frequency, though still 88.1, the call sign was WTBS before they sold it to Ted Turner, who was building a network at the time. And so, of course, now it's WMBR. The other trivia question on the founding of the Black Students Union was, of course, 1968. In 1968, there would not have been enough Black students to fill this first row. And the Black Students Union was founded by that handful of Black students who are here. And one of the founders is here. She'll be mentioned by someone else coming after me. But imagine that. Just this first row, there would not have been enough of you to fill that row. So we've come a long way. Last two things I'll say is that MIT is the place where I met my wife, Eva Clark, class of '81. Second best thing to happen to me. MIT is also the place where I began following Jesus. The best thing that happened to me. Okay, let's get on with handing out with calling the graduates. Oh, I think I have some instructions I have to read first. I'm sorry. When I call your name, we want you to come down the left side, your right side of the aisle to receive your stole. You'll find your name on the program. If you're in the middle or on the right side, your left side, we want you to go up the aisle to the back and come down the right side. Okay? So you're going to go up this way and come down that way. We know some of you honored here are also participating remotely. Please identify yourselves to your staff to our staff online. Okay. Are we ready? Here we go. Wonuola Abiodun. Kakari Achireko. Pelumi Adebayo. Adetola Adeleke. Solomon Adenle. Oyade Adeyemi. Annabelle Adieri. Hannah Aguanobi. Blessing Akunure. Antoine Ali. Kwame Arhin. Calvin Baker. Devin Baines. Brian Belliard. Ayub Berhane. Daniel Brown. Zachary Burton. Easy Burtz III. Jared Byers. Micah Kane. Corinna Caton. Nanette Chapman. Florida Chisesa. Lolade Komla. Janelle Dakers. Dina Darby. Ruth Davis. Prince Deborah. Oluwadara Deru. Olivia Dias. Kaylin Dunnell. Enoch Ellis. Kelsey Fontenot. Canute Forbes. Devon Fowkes. Matthew Gooden. Sarah Harbona. Nix Hiley. Alice Hall. Diamond Head. Madison Hobbs. Tamoya Hopkins. Jonathan Hunde. Hiba Hussein. Tisha Ifidon. Ifioma Ijeli. Baruch Israel. Dylan Johnson. Morgan Quamina. I'm sorry, Morgan Johnson Quamina. Sorry about that. David Kwabi Ado. Abena Cherametuia. Brianna LeBrun. John Magira. Oluwabusola Marcus. Michael Martins. Dylan Mazard. Ariel McGee. Makita McConan. Sean Mintz. Crystal Montgomery. Paola Namfi. Jules Wynn. Lauren Nichols. Kamau Jendu. Casey Wokocha. Osahon Odiase. Faith Odunsi. Angela Olua Ogundenbi. Toju Ogunowa. Bernard Okobiman. Aubong Okon Omoren, sorry. Justin Okorie. Chisimdi Okorafor. Ugo Okwadibo. Mercy Olagunju. Momoie Olua Omotosho. Noni Otu Ugwu. Were Oyomno. Jade Persona. Kira Pospeshil. Macy Prescott. Wasim Pisade. Tamarick Rab. Arya Ragas. Will Reed. Sol Robert. Brianna Roundtree. Chanel Rowell. Nana Sapong. Yasmin Shabazz. Mohammed Sid Ahmed. Matthew Smith. Jocelyn St. Luce. Imani Stanton. Alacia Leilani Stone. Xavier Strom. Ayantu Tamen. Price Taylor. Dami Thomas. Gianna Torpe. Prince Tufan. Rita Ugandan Terila. Alia Villalva. Sophie Volpe. Okay. One more. Trinika Fields. Okay. Did I get everybody that's it? Okay. Congratulations.
Bear with me, guys. Thank you and congratulations to all. We will have time for you to take photos after the ceremony. It is our tradition to recognize those that have come before us, our ancestors. Every generation, driven by a dedication to excellence and the need to see things better for the following generation, leaves a legacy that guides and directs. We are fortunate to have such a legacy. Today, we recognize those Black alumni that have graduated from MIT 50 plus years ago. Black alumni that Black alumni that have received their red jackets are now members of the Cardinal and Gray Society, starting with Robert Taylor, class of 1892, to those who graduated from the class of 1976. I also want to take the time to recognize Linda Sharp. As a member of the class of 1969, she is one of the founding members of the BSU and BAMIT. Thank you for your presence here and for the legacy you have left. We call these graduates our waymakers. They are visionaries and torchbearers that have gone the distance and won the race. Today, while we celebrate our 2026 graduates, we honor all the other 50+ year Black graduates as they pass the torch of excellence and commitment to you. I will now welcome back Quinn.
This concludes our celebration. Congratulations to our graduates. I know that your families are proud of your accomplishments. We are proud of your accomplishments, and we welcome you warmly to the Black Alumni of MIT family. As members of BAMIT, you have a network of support as you embark on the next phase of your professional careers and a vehicle to give back and pay it forward. We acknowledge and thank the many people who work hard for this event. Thank you to Crystal Dixon for kicking us off, and thank you to Deborah Carlton and my co-chair, Patrice Blankford, and the BAMIT Programming Committee for planning this. Thank you to our wonderful speakers, David Dharmafal, Greg Anderson, and Dara and Micah. Thank you, Sonia, for your wonderful emceeing skills. Thank you, Burnt Sugar. And special thanks to Whitney Espich, Elise Noel Perkins, and the MIT Alumni Relations staff, Moana Benton, Sam Freed, and Riley Sullivan for their dedication and care in putting this event together. Thank you to the Office of Wellness and Belonging for your partnership. And thank you, Rockland Clark, for adding your voice to the graduate roll call. To the Black alumni of MIT, and to families and friends of our graduates, to all of you in attendance in person and online, thank you all for sharing this day of celebration with us.